But then from July to like September, it was like 500,000 subscribers.
Oh my gosh.
Because like, you remember the game was everyone played.
So I like to start off every conversation with a snap with 2 hands.
Okay.
So we're gonna snap on through 1, 2, 3. How's it going, guys? My name is Josh Garcia here with Creators Key. I am sitting down with Nick, who runs Trainer Tips, who is basically the Wikipedia and has a real life Pokemon adventure. So just want to thank you for taking the time to sit down with me.
Yeah, dude, of course.
Yeah. So first, I'd like to kind of walk through the journey of how you got into what you're currently doing now with Pokemon Go. Like, how did that all begin?
Damn. It was kind of like it's kind of like a culmination of just a lot of things. I've reflected on it, a lot, and ultimately, like I've always just wanted to do something creative. Like I've known that for a long time. As a kid, I loved drawing. I was always just like making stuff. Like I made a Pokédex.
Yeah.
Like when I was like 10 years old, out of like cardboard and paper that you could slide Pokemon cards into, and it would like have the picture and like the description.
Yeah.
So I've just like always been making things. So I always knew that was something I wanted to do. In high school, I started playing around with like my dad's camera, like the old,
nice.
The dad cam.
Yeah.
With the flip out thing on the side. Yeah. And I was really into skateboarding. So started out just like filming skate videos with friends. Smosh was like just starting at the time.
Yes.
So my oldest video on YouTube is actually the Captain Planet theme song, like skit, basically, like super Smosh inspired.
Yeah.
Me with like a green t-shirt on my head as hair. It's just like, goofy stuff like that. So I was like playing around with editing, just kind of learning, thought I wanted to go into film going into college. The film program at Cal State Long Beach was like super impacted, which is really hard to get into. I ended up going into psychology just because like I had to pick a major.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Obviously haven't done anything with that.
Yeah, right.
But after college, I was working with a company with a dance competition.
Sweet.
And I started off as a photographer for them, and then kind of moved up to like running the whole media department. So I really learned like professional editing.
Nice.
In that position. The guy that was like there before me taught me how to use Premiere for the first time. And I was doing that for a while, and I got to a point where I was like, I don't have any like creative freedom here.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking photos, which is, it's more like I'm documenting, because the dancer is kind of the artist, the performer.
Yes.
And my job is to just like make sure I get what they're doing. And then I was like, kind of like, I had to manage people, which I never enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
So I ended up quitting that because I wanted to do something creative. I just had no idea what, but I was kind of like fed up with the work schedule. And I ended up coming home, and I'm talking to my cousin at Christmas, he's an actor, and he has a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I was just talking to him, about like life. He's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to like make more stuff on my YouTube channel if you want to come shoot for me.
Yeah.
And shoot and edit. And so I just ended up working with him like 2015, probably the start of 2015.
Okay.
And that's when I really was like, watching a ton of YouTube, doing stuff with him, watching a ton of Casey Neistat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you probably get your...
It was a huge inspiration, for sure. So I was like around YouTube a lot, thinking about YouTube a lot. And then at the end of 2015, Pokemon Go got announced.
Wow.
And they said like really early on, I think one of the first interviews with the CEO or something, he said, if you want to catch all the Pokemon, you have to actually travel around the world.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, I moved home. I was living in New Orleans with the dance competition. So I'd moved home. I was living in my dad's house. I was not making very much money, just like working with my cousin once or twice a week. I was like, how am I gonna travel the world to catch these Pokemon? And making a YouTube channel seemed like the way. I was like, well, maybe, you know,
Yeah.
I could try this, and if it takes off, then yeah, it could happen. Like watching so much Casey Neistat and
Yes.
seeing how much he traveled and like the freedom
Yeah.
of it, and yeah, that was kind of it. It was like, okay, well, this game's coming out. I can edit videos. I enjoy doing that. I can put the two together and maybe something will happen. So I started making videos at the beginning of 2016 before the game was even out, just to like have, you know, a backlog of stuff, a catalog.
Yeah.
Try to like start growing. And at that point, like, I think there were like 2 other people actually making videos
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
And the game wasn't even out yet, so no one cared. Like
Yeah,
they were getting like maybe 1,000 views max from like other people who were following along with the development.
Yeah.
So I think from January to July 2016, the channel gained like 2,000 subscribers,
Wow.
which is cool.
Yeah.
But then from July to like September, it was like 500,000 subscribers.
Oh my gosh.
Because like, you know, I mean, you remember the game was
Yeah.
everyone played.
Yeah.
It popped off like, and just took the channel with it. So.
Wow. So was it, do you think it was, I mean, definitely with the Pokemon Go and people like searching for that information and searching, you know, because I really love, like, you're big into like education with like, hey, this is what's going on right now with this Pokemon, this is where you can find it, etc.
Yeah.
Were you doing that from the beginning and then it just continued to carry through?
Yeah. So from the beginning, I mean, the channel's called Trainer Tips.
Yes.
So yeah, it was definitely very like information, education based. I tried to be like really thorough and sure that I was like correct about everything.
Yeah.
I've just always been afraid of being wrong. Like, you know, I never wanted to raise my hand in class because I didn't want to give the wrong answer and then
Yeah.
like be embarrassed in front of everyone. So I always like made sure I knew I had everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was like the strategy, I guess, at the beginning was like answer all the questions that I know people are going to have. And that's going to help get eyes on the channel early.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you start playing a new game, if you don't understand something, the first thing you do is go look it up.
Yeah.
A lot of people are looking at YouTube. So I tried to make a ton of videos that were just like explaining everything. The first video after the game came out was called How to Play Pokemon Go, and it might still be, it probably still is the most viewed video on the channel.
Wow. So, for roughly about 6 months, your channel grew to 2,000, or around 2,000, and then the following 6 months it grew to you said 200 or 500?
500, yeah.
Wow. How, so was that, do you like track metrics, or, you know, like what does that process look like for you, like around that time?
At that time, I mean, yeah, I was like watching it because it was crazy to see the growth.
Yeah, it was probably
but
popping up.
it was all happening so fast. Like I felt like I was playing catch up for a long time because
Yeah.
you know, I mean, most people's YouTube journey is like started like I did, like 6 months, 2,000 subscribers, and it kind of continues at that pace.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot as you go. Like
Yeah.
the videos start getting more views. You kind of like hone your craft. You find your style.
Yeah.
You interact with like a slightly bigger audience every day, every month, whatever, as you grow. But for me, it was like, okay, I'm making YouTube videos. I'm not making any money, but like people
Yeah.
are watching them. This is cool. And then all of a sudden, it was just like the whole world is watching this channel. I had no idea like really what to do. So I just put my head down and worked.
Wow.
Like there was so much momentum. It's obviously super exciting to just
Yes.
like all of a sudden have 100,000, 200,000, a million people watching your videos.
Yeah.
And it just kept me going. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, I was watching Casey Neistat and he had like a 3-year daily upload streak.
Dude.
So I was like, I'm going to upload every single day.
Yeah.
And the momentum just like kept it going.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, especially around that time when Pokemon Go was like just very huge at that time, I'm sure a lot of people are also looking up resources for, like, you know, what's popping up. I recall a video you traveled to was it Japan with one of the guys who had like the highest XP in the whole game.
Oh yeah, Singapore.
Singapore. Yeah, and he had like a stop, like very efficiently stopped.
Yeah.
But you know, where has it evolved to now?
Man, I feel like it hasn't changed that much, but at the same time, it's changed a lot. I think the biggest difference is definitely the schedule. Because daily, it's just not sustainable, especially at like the style that I was doing, because there was so much, obviously, Casey Neistat influence. It was tips, it was educational, but it was also like a daily vlog where like I'm going out every single day, bringing the audience with me. Like I'm catching Pokemon, I'm going to the park, I'm going to the whatever, I'm showing like everything that I'm doing, what I'm eating, spending time with my family. Like that was all going into the videos, because that was what I was seeing on YouTube. That was what was working on YouTube at the time. And it just wasn't sustainable. The amount of work, the like drawing on your personal life for content becomes like kind of a weird thing that I've really tried to pull back on. But I think before it got to where it is now, the travel really started. Like that was one of my main goals. Obviously, like I said, like
in the beginning,
you have to travel to catch the Pokemon. So that was kind of the goal. So when that started happening, I think the first trip that I did with the channel was November of 2016. So like a few months after the game had come out, I went to Japan. And that was like, that changed everything for me. It was like, this is exactly what I wanted to do. Just like, first of all, being able to go there myself, but like also to share that with such a big audience felt like a really unique opportunity. Besides Casey Neistat, the other like big influence was Anthony Bourdain. I'm a huge Bourdain fan. So I always liked that his show was like, it's like a food show, but it's so much more than that. Like you learn so much about the people and the place that he's, traveling to. And I kind of tried to do the same thing where like,
love that.
Okay, it's a Pokemon video and the title is about Pokemon Go, and people are going to come to the video because they want to learn about Pokemon Go. But then I have this opportunity to show something completely new to this audience who might not have been looking for it in the first place. And so I really just like tried to take advantage of that and try to do as many trips as I could. I was probably, this summer was kind of like back to normal, like gone like half the year, basically.
Just traveling I love that, because like two big influences for myself, Casey and Anthony as well. Casey obviously for the video format and the filmography that he does, and Anthony for the travel, like you said. And he really highlights beyond the food. Like he talks about like the lifestyle, the culture, and it really shows that appreciation for wherever he's at. So I'm sure, for your experience, like that must have been like super cool to not only do what you love within the Pokemon world, but also get to travel as well. Where, for anybody looking to grow on YouTube or on Instagram, what advice would you impart for them, to get started?
Consistency is important. Like it's kind of always been the thing. I think it's less so now. Like algorithms are changing. Like that's the reality of YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. It's all algorithm driven, and you really do have to spend time learning what the algorithm wants.
Got it.
It's like this invisible thing that just like controls everything, controls my daily life too. The algorithm, I don't know. There's the way that I've adapted my content now is kind of just to line up with the way that the algorithm wants things to do. Back in the day it was Casey Neistat who was like setting the format basically, and now like Mr. Beast is huge, and like that style of video is really taking off. So I'm trying to adapt to that. I feel like I've done a pretty good job. But yeah, definitely like studying algorithm. Like, look at what works.
Yeah.
Look at what's successful on whatever platform you're trying to work with.
Yeah.
And basically, like, take their ideas. Like, take what works, adapt it to what you're trying to do, whatever your niche is, whatever, put your spin on it. But like, there are formats that absolutely work well.
Yeah.
Because retention is a huge thing for YouTube. Like, the I've learned so much about, like, it's so much more than just like being creative and being able to create. Like, to be successful, you kind of have to learn to play the game. Like, you can absolutely just like be yourself and be creative, and that's still good advice, is like, be yourself.
Yeah. Because
no one else is going to do exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Super important. But like, learning to play the game is a huge part of it. There's just like so much that goes into it. Retention, the platforms want you as a creator to keep people there as long as possible, which is like, it's like a struggle that I've had the whole time, because I mean, I don't like to be on social media that much. I try not to, but at the same time, like, my job depends on getting people onto YouTube and like trying to keep them there as long as possible, which is, I don't know, man. You can't, like, you have to like concede some things, right?
Yeah.
So, I retention is a huge thing. I don't know about Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder how important retention is. I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah, I feel like for them, they've kind of shifted closer to TikTok, where it's like all short form, like fast-paced videos. But then again, I hear like they're going back to like photo and carousels.
Okay.
Which is kind of coming back, as from what I've been hearing. But that's a very like strong point of like doing research on these algorithms, right? And figuring out what's worked, because I'm sure, like, as you've also been doing research not only on your craft and Pokemon Go, but also like on what the platforms are kind of evolving to.
Yeah.
How long did you do the Casey Neistat like everyday's videos? Because like that, dude, kudos to that, because that's a lot of work, bro. Like, from the edits to cutting to like, because I see like you do the overlays too, and all that stuff, which takes a lot of. I'm sure you had it down to a process after some time.
Yeah, for sure. The edits have gotten way faster. I think daily, I started slowing down on daily after probably just a few months. A few months was enough to be like, this is crazy. And I tried to like compromise, where I was like, okay, Sunday will be like a Q&A video, because that's easy.
Nice.
But then it's still work every single day, and like really no time to. I wasn't doing anything. Like, I wasn't hanging out with friends. If I was hanging out with friends, it was to film a video while we're there. So I'm not like fully present in whatever's going on. Probably a few months, and then it was like, I tried to upload as often as possible, and I still do, but I definitely don't push myself to try to do something every day. Like, the big change for me was, instead of like, I need to put a video out every day and force it on days when there's like nothing happening, instead focus on the events. In Pokemon Go is a big thing. Whenever there's like a new event, that's a good time to make a video about the event, make a video about whatever new feature is coming out, and just kind of focusing on like those things. And then also trying to find, now more so, more evergreen content, which has been like the more recent change, I think, especially like within the algorithm. Like, it's become more important, because previously it was like a lot more momentum driven, where you had daily vlogs, and it was like, okay, you're keeping people coming back every single day, and then, that's good. But that hasn't, like, I don't know if like people's attention spans have changed. I'm sure they have. There's still people who would totally be down to watch like a daily vlog, and I'm sure there's like huge vloggers still. But like, when you think of YouTube now, it's like Mr. Beast. You think of like those big videos, and he's only uploading once a week, once a month sometimes.
Yeah.
But they're huge videos that people can watch forever.
Yeah, and at any time.
Yeah, and so that's been the big difference, is trying to make more videos like that so that I don't have to put something up every day. Instead of trying to like put something out every day that's going to get 100,000 views, come up with a video idea that people can watch forever. That's just going to keep, maybe it's 100,000 views this week, but like for the next year, people are going to keep watching it. It's going to keep climbing. So the focus has really been more on doing that, more evergreen content, which is, I think, like, again, with the shift in like the way YouTube works, it's like less daily, it's more just something that is always going to be watchable.
Yeah.
I don't know what the question was.
No,
I don't know where that's.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, we were streaming here. Have you dabbled into YouTube Shorts?
A little bit, yeah. And they just started like the monetization for that, which is, I guess, better than TikTok. It pays more than TikTok, pays more than Reels.
Yeah.
But I've struggled with it just because, I mean, like I said, I don't like to spend a lot of time on social media. And, even though the idea is like keep people watching, I like making my video and like having that be the thing, and like you can go do whatever you want after that. But like,
yeah.
I don't know. I haven't found a way to make shorts work for my like style, I guess. Like, that's not true. I found a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Which is like it works really well for like quick tips and stuff like that.
Yes.
It works really well to just like pluck a viral moment out of a full video.
Yes.
You have to like treat it a little bit differently, write a new hook for it as a short, and you can totally do that. But like, I don't know, man, something about like the whole idea of nonstop, just back to back to back to back. Like when I'm scrolling through Twitter,
yeah,
I feel terrible afterwards.
Yeah.
Like I actually feel bad. I'm like, I didn't retain anything.
Yeah.
And I feel like shorts are kind of the same way. TikTok's kind of the same way, where I'm just like, I'm concerned that I'm then doing more for the algorithm than I am like for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I keep thinking like, oh, I should do it, and I probably should. Like from a business perspective, I probably should. But like on a personal level, I'm not into the idea of it.
Yeah. So it sounds like you got heavy into YouTube, did it every day. Then I'm sure like I don't know if it was like a burnout, or you're just like, this is not sustainable.
Oh, for sure, burnout.
Yeah, creative. Yeah, because same thing when I saw Casey Neistat, I was like, dude, 365 days, that's intense. And also too, like filming like that, I feel like sometimes can take you out of the moment, because you're always looking for a shot, you're always thinking about a shot.
Yep.
And leaving your camera as you go through wherever you're going through, which can kind of take you out of moments when you're, I feel for you, like you love to be in the moment and you're very present, but like filming can kind of take you out of that for a little bit, and you kind of get lost in more of like the shot of it versus like living it, right? So I love that you're very conscious about that, or intentional with it. Transitioning into being present, let's talk about traveling. So I see you're big into the outdoors. Are you more like woods, beach, desert? All the above?
No, I would rank it as like forest, mountains, forest covered mountains. Definitely top of the list. Then like desert, beach is pretty low. I actually, I don't know. I don't really
but dude, not really a beach.
I've never been in the water here ever.
That's good.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Definitely like mountains. Mountains are at the top for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mountains, and you also have a trailer as well. So how often do you travel? I mean, I'm sure it kind of depends, but
well, for 2 years, not at all.
Oh yeah.
But like this year, everything kind of picked up again, and I was gone like I could probably count Costa Rica, then I was in Mexico, then Spain,
Oof.
Albania, Greece, Germany, Japan, Singapore. Probably those.
Yeah.
Like this year, like kind of from like summer, basically, like
Okay, summer last year.
spring, summer.
Yeah.
Last year, yeah. And that felt more like normal, like pre-pandemic normal, like
Being able to move around.
yeah, at least like 6 to 10 different countries a year.
And do you create there, or do you kind of just like to enjoy it, or a little bit of both?
I mean, it kind of depends. Obviously, when I was doing the vlog style, I was every single day that I was traveling.
Yeah.
It made the videos a lot easier. It was a lot more fun for me.
Yeah.
I think like a big part of the burnout with the daily stuff or the vlog style stuff was like being in the same setting every single day.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I've filmed this street, this building, this park 100 different ways. Like I can't cover it any other way.
Yeah.
But going to a new country or even like a new city
Yeah.
is, I mean, it just changes. Like everything's brand new.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing it for the first time. I'm having all these like ideas, like I could shoot it this way.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I'm traveling, it's like it's every day. Less so now. It just kind of depends on the trip. Like if I'm going somewhere specifically for a Pokemon Go event, if it's like it's a work trip 100%,
Yeah.
then I try to like plan out video ideas ahead of time, and that's been really great because I've never been a planner. I'm just like
Yeah.
wake up and like, what am I going to do today?
Right.
And that worked great for the vlog style, but it also got exhausting.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I filmed all this stuff, and towards the end of like the vlogging era, it was like, okay, I filmed this entire day. What is it now?
Yeah.
Like there was no intention, and that makes it a lot harder to edit.
Yeah.
I have to like come up with some catchy title and thumbnail based on what happened, and there's no guarantee that something happened. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of just like I went out and
This
and
is what it is.
This is what I did today, and with the title and thumbnail being so important on YouTube, like now planning an entire video idea ahead of time, like title and thumbnail already in mind before I even go out to shoot, it just gives so much direction to the entire day. So having that planned like specifically for whatever place I'm going to, like
Yeah.
you know, filming around the place or like some unique thing about it. Yeah, that's definitely been super helpful for me as someone who has always been terrible at planning things.
Yeah. Kind of the same
but,
way.
Yeah.
Kinda just shoot and go, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And it works, but like definitely there were a ton of days where I would just be at my desk at the end of the day like I don't know what I have here.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make this marketable, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, if I'm like on a vacation trip, you know, if I'm going somewhere with friends or
Yeah.
whatever, I'll still try to plan videos, but definitely not every day. Like I'll try to plan around the trip where I'm not really mixing the two.
Yes.
Where I'm not like, okay, this is a personal day, this is when we're going to do whatever as a group, and the next day I'll go do like my own thing and
Yeah.
film a video.
Yeah.
Or like half day, you know, in the morning
Yeah.
I'll go out and film a video while everyone's just kind of like chilling at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just having that kind of like intentionality in both the shoot and the like life, you know, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's made a huge difference for me. And then like planning something ahead of time, it's just worked better with the way things are now on YouTube, because you come up with the idea that's like, this video can be watched no matter what year it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's an idea that's like timeless in a sense, whereas before it was like, I'm gonna go out today, a new event started, I'm gonna film the event, But a week from now, when the event's over, no one cares anymore. Like having a title and thumbnail about this event in 2018, no one's gonna be like, yeah, let's watch that. I mean, they might go back for like nostalgia, but it's not gonna keep drawing people in.
That's interesting. So you had mentioned this, or kind of already touched on this earlier, but just like the creative process, right? So how does that look like for you now, right? Because you do kind of like vlog style format, unless you're traveling. Like, how do you plan it out from ideation to shooting to posting?
Most of it's just in my head.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I have a note in my phone that's just like video title
like journal.
just title ideas. A lot of the ideas just come up randomly. Sometimes I try to sit down and think about ideas, but for the most part, it's just like something comes up and I'll write it down.
Yeah, got it. Kind of like as you're going throughout your day.
I want to see what I have. Because like sometimes an idea will come up, but it's like a specific, like a location specific idea. Like when I went to in my game in Pokemon Go, I have like a ton of research. Like there's just basically like tasks, like quest lines that come out every once in a while, but I like would never finish them for some reason. So I had like 5 years worth of them kind of stacked up. And people would always comment like, why don't you finish them? It drives me crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't really care that much. Like, I'll get the rewards later on. It's fine. Same thing. But I knew that I was going to make a video where I just like completed a bunch of them in one video, because it's kind of timeless, you know? It's like I opened a crazy amount of whatever, and I don't know what I'm going to get because it's been so long since they were released. You know, the kind of like a almost an unboxing, you know, mystery box type video. Which like does pretty well on YouTube. So like kind of taking that mystery box idea, you know, Pokemon TCG pack openings, like you're ripping open old stuff and hoping you get something cool. And like adapted that to Pokemon Go.
Nice.
So that was kind of like the ideation process, I guess. Which is like, and then I wanted to do it in somewhere interesting. Like I didn't want to just do that video at home. Which I easily could have done. I could have just like sat at my desk and opened them up and see what's in there. But you know, some of them I still had to like do the tasks. So I planned specifically to do that like in Japan, when I was in Japan at the end of last year, because then I could like go back to the style that I really enjoy, which is taking people through a new place. You know, it's not a new place necessarily because I've been there like 6 times, but it's still like, you know, an interesting place. So I planned to like go to new places that I hadn't been before and kind of like film the video throughout the day. So kind of going back to the vlog style, but you know, with the new intentionality that I've developed over time. So I guess, I mean, that would be like basically the process for like a video idea at this point. Like idea just comes up, maybe watching,
take a note of it.
Maybe just like scrolling through YouTube and looking at recommended, like is something I do a lot. Just look at what's recommended to me. Because obviously it's catered to me, but it's like the videos that are doing well that YouTube thinks are worth sharing with people. But that are also like interesting to me. So kind of like match up with my style. So I'll scroll through there and see like, okay, this is a really interesting idea. How can I do something similar to that with Pokemon Go? You know, incorporate my own style, do it in a foreign country so that I can share that at the same time. And then, I mean, that video's doing pretty well, so I think it's working.
And you know, it's cool because it's like you're almost like an experimenter of sorts. You know, like you're a researcher, an experimenter, and then also the subject, right? Because you're also doing it as well. I was just I'm reading a book right now that my mom got for me, Steal Like an Artist. And they talk about that, where it's like, you look at the people that inspire you, right? Whether it be Casey Neistat, Anthony Bourdain, or whatever's recommended, and then you see what they're doing, and then you take whatever they're doing, and then you turn it into your own, right? Because that's kind of how, fan fiction, or that's where a lot of people like write stories about characters that already exist, but kind of tailor it in their own way. So that's cool. Let's talk about community building, because I know you've built a very dedicated community. One of the videos I watched was you were at a signing somewhere, and like the line was just like bonkers, like down the line. I was like, dang, that must be so crazy. And like, first, like, how is that, like, how is that for you? And then, let's talk about like just building a community of people.
Yeah, that was like a crazy part of it for me, because I've never, like, my goal was never like to be famous. I didn't care about being known. I've always been like more introverted, like totally introverted, really shy in social situations. So when people started approaching me in public and be like, hey, I know you from YouTube, I was like, what?
Hi.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it was wild to me. But luckily, being with my cousin for an entire year and a half at that point, I'd gone with him to like conventions where he had done signings and stuff, and I picked up a lot from the way that he interacted with fans, and like kind of like learned from it. Luckily, so I felt a lot more comfortable, in the situation than if I hadn't had that experience. But yeah, the first Pokemon Go Fest was like the first big in-person event that they did. It was summer of 2017, a year after the game came out, and that was like my first official meetup signing thing. Like I'd kind of avoided doing them before that just because it made me nervous, I get social anxiety when I'm just meeting new people in regular situations. But that it kind of changed things for me. Like it opened my eyes to like, okay, these are the people who are watching my videos. Like it's not like random people coming up to me. It's like people who, for one thing, like appreciate what I'm doing, but like they're people. Like that was a big part of it, is like these are people, because when you're looking at analytics, numbers, views, whatever, it's numbers. And there's comments, and people are like sometimes saying nice things in comments, sometimes saying terrible things in comments, but it's still just like words on a screen. But when you get to meet someone face to face, and they can kind of share like, oh, I play the game with my mom, and I send her all your videos whenever she has questions about things, and like it helped us, we like bonded over whatever. It's just like it makes things more real. So it added a really human element to what I had been doing for an entire year. And after that, I finally started like actually doing my own meetups, like when I would travel. So cool. Pretty much immediately after that event, it was in Chicago, I went to Hawaii with my family, and I did a meetup there. It was like my first, like, announced it on Twitter, like, come hang out. And when I was there, it was like 20, 30 people maybe. Like, there was one guy who was like, hey, dude, thank you so much for doing this. I've been playing the game for a year, but like I didn't know anyone who plays. And I was like, oh, they were just telling me about the Facebook group that they're all in for the island. And like, he started talking to him, joined the group, and I realized that it was a meetup it doesn't have to be about me. Like, it's a really good opportunity to bring people together. Which is another thing that like has become really important to me. Just being able to like connect people in their local communities. It just made it feel like, I don't know. I started enjoying doing the meetups a lot more at that point. And I don't know, as for community building, like, especially at the beginning, when you're vlogging your daily life,
Yeah.
people watching really feel like they're there with you, like they're a part of it.
Yeah.
People would come up and like ask about my mom, ask about my brother. Like, it's kind of weird. It's also part of the reason why I like pulled back on sharing so much.
Yeah.
Because I've always kind of been a private person. But yeah, I think just like being really open and honest, and like, while I'm bringing people along, makes them feel like
A part of it.
yeah, like it's just more relatable. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm more of a person on screen than what the local news people. Like some people watch the news every day, but I don't know. I don't know Fritz Coleman.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like I feel like it just deepens the relationship that people have with you, like from like on screen and off screen.
Yeah.
And I feel for you, like, because I have some buddies that, like, one of my good friends, James, he does food blogging stuff. He's a food writer. And kind of just seeing him like kind of go out and like see how food definitely brings people together, but like kind of what you mentioned, where people would rally and you really connect not only with what you're doing with the content, but like through your content, have brought families closer together, or like connected people, and people really connect with that. And I think that's such an important aspect for just life in general, because community really helps people through life, really. I had a question, but it had just escaped me as they do. So you're talking about like personal and private, right? Because I know it's like you want to share some certain things with people, but at the same token, being private, because I'm similar in that sense, where I'm like an open book, but at the same token very private at times, and I like my own space, and I like to just have time where I just don't talk to anybody. How have you balanced that with what you're doing, because you're out there?
I mean, the biggest thing was definitely moving away from the vlog style, or even like when I was still doing it, just being more intentional about it, about what I would and wouldn't include in the videos. Like no relationship stuff in the videos, like less family and less, like my sister plays Pokemon Go, my mom plays. So like if we're playing together, but like I'm not like bringing the camera to family dinner anymore. And I feel like overall it's been good. Like I feel a lot better about the amount that I'm sharing, and I've definitely learned how to like keep making kind of the same type of content. Like if I am doing more of a vlog video, like bringing the camera with me throughout the day, like I said earlier, I'm planning for those days more, where like I'm not like doing things with friends and bringing the camera along.
It's more intentional, like we're gonna shoot for an hour and then done, and then I can just kind of like be really for sure. And then even now I'm not doing every single video as like a vlog. There's still, I guess even from the beginning, there were still videos that were like just tips, like talking about a specific subject or whatever, like sit down and talking head for an entire video. I think I don't know, the format change was probably the biggest thing that helped with it. And then I think I'm just really having the realization that like I don't want to actually share this much of my life with a million people on the internet. It's been interesting. Like I feel like I've almost become, like I've definitely felt myself become more guarded around people, like around new people that I'm meeting. Because you inevitably will meet people who want something from you more than like they want to just hang out with you as a person. And I feel like
I've always been pretty good at detecting that early on and like knowing like, okay, this person, it just like, you know, they want something.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, but it's not going to go beyond that, you know?
Yeah. You can kind of like fish those out and like just be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just going to be over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, you know, I've definitely seen friends who like aren't really, I don't know, have a harder time kind of seeing the difference and like seeing how that can play out.
Yeah.
To a point where like someone feels like they're being taken advantage of, and like you know, it's understandable.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just being able to tell the difference has been pretty important.
Yeah, I can imagine you being able to like having to go through that, and like as time has progressed, being able to that skill or that, you know, that muscle get stronger of like when to say no and like know when to be okay with it, and like because for me, like sometimes I fall into not a trap, but I just fall into like a people pleasing mode.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, oh shoot, and then I'm like depleted. I'm like, why am I so depleted?
Yep.
Because I'm just giving so much of myself away.
Yeah.
Whether it be time, money, or energy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Going back to community building, but you know, I just want to pick on one thing is, what were some things that you learned from your cousin as he was meeting fans, or like, you know, some of the etiquettes that you kind of picked up on that has really helped them, you know, connect with his fans or connect with your fans, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's just like, he's a good listener, you know, like realizing that every single person who comes up to you, who approaches you, is a person, is a huge start. And like surprisingly, you know, not, I don't know. I feel like you always hear stories about celebrities who are like assholes to their fans. And I'm sure like, you know, as you get more famous, it's more constant, but like, I don't know, just being nice is like huge. Like my mom always said, like, you know, be nice to people, whatever, in whatever mom way.
Yeah,
you know?
momism.
She's said so many things. Yeah, I mean that's just huge. Is like just treating people like people. Yeah, you know, not like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I feel like, I mean, that definitely goes a long way, right? Because, you know, there's that saying like you don't never want to meet your heroes, right?
Yeah.
Because like you've built up after like watching them or seeing them for such a long time in such a certain way, and then meeting them in person, they maybe have a bad day or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I feel, kind of to your point, it's so important, like even on an off day, to kind of just be like, take that little 2 extra seconds to kind of make that connection, because you know, that will just make that relationship go a lot further.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even for myself, you know, like I'm not nowhere near on your level of like connections of people, but like, you know, especially when you're on the go, like, because I produce events and stuff, it's like, I'm like, oh shoot, I would love to talk to you, but I gotta go over here, you know.
Yeah.
And being mindful about that, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one of you, and you know, so many people, you know. Yeah.
I would like to get your take on like, I want to say, like, it's such a strong word, but like haters, right? Or like people that just like throw shade, or like whatever the case may be. Like, how do you deal with that, or like how do you
ignore it? Like, I know it's probably hard for a lot of people, but like, I see it, you know. And I definitely come across it. It's in the comments, you know, whether it's like someone didn't like the video or thought I looked stupid in the video, whatever it is, you know. The easiest thing is to just not interact with it. Like, you know, you want to, sometimes there's an urge to like get some little jab in, you know, be like, oh, you know, but it's just not, it's not worth it. You know, it's not worth my time. It's not worth the energy. I definitely like kind of cringe when I see friends like going back and forth with people. Like, dude, just ignore it. Like, you don't have to give them any attention. That really is, I think, the best way. Like, even just seeing like two people fighting in my mentions on Twitter. Like I'll tweet something and then like I'll just like be reading notifications later on, and there's like this back and forth for like 10 tweets of two people arguing over something that kind of initially started with whatever I said in the tweet,
and then it
just keeps going, and I'm like, I don't know. I just can't imagine spending that much time and energy.
Yeah.
Because you can't win. Like you can't win. Yeah, you can ratio someone, but like you can't win.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
it's awful.
Yeah. So what platforms are? I mean, obviously you're on YouTube, right? Was that your first one, like first platform that you started on, and then built everything kind of around it, or?
Yeah, everything else was just kind of supplemental to YouTube. Just making videos was all I really wanted to do. Yeah. So it was just like, yeah, you have to have a Twitter and an Instagram, and I had a Facebook too for a while.
Yeah, until
it was just like I had a bot set up to like post to the Facebook page whenever a video got uploaded, and that was the most I did there.
Yeah. How do you utilize Twitter? I mean, in your
I really poorly right now, actually. I'm like to the point that I'm considering deleting it from my phone for a little while, because I'm like I find myself scrolling through it way too often now, and not getting anything out of it. So yeah, as far as like creating content though, it's always just kind of been like a little more conversational at times. It's I don't really reply to YouTube comments, but like if someone tweets me something that's like, just like a nice thing about the video or whatever, like they caught some Pokemon that they're happy about, I'll reply like, oh, that's awesome. Like,
hell yeah.
Just like it's a way to like interact with viewers.
So is it more like just your thoughts, or just like, hey guys, check out this Pokemon at this location? Or it's kind of, I mean, it's changed over time. I honestly don't even tweet that much. Like sometimes I'll go a month without tweeting anything. Oh, okay.
Like sometimes I'll tweet when I post a new video.
Yeah.
And I'll have like a streak of like tweeting every new video for like a month, and then I won't tweet whenever I post a video for an entire month. I don't know. I just like, it kind of comes back to the thing where like I don't want to take up so much time,
Yeah.
Especially like mid 2020 when like everything was crazy.
Yeah.
And we were all locked inside and everyone was on Twitter. Like, I don't know. At that point I was like, okay, there's like a lot of important things happening in the world.
Yeah.
And like, there's definitely a place for funny tweets or whatever. Like, that's humor, helps get people through the day.
Yeah.
For sure. There's like threads of good information on Twitter that's interesting, but like for me to just like tweet, I'm drinking coffee right now, just feels like a waste of people's time to me. So I really try to tweet like, if it's something that I think is funny, that's like people are gonna it's funny, to like brighten someone's day, but also a little bit for the validation that I'm actually funny.
Like, let me test this out real quick.
Like a stand-up, testing out new material.
Love it.
And then like just like other kind of announcements or whatever, like new video or thoughts or comments on some update. Like if there's something happening in Pokemon Go it's new but it doesn't warrant an entire video, sometimes I'll just like tweet about it so we can kind of talk about it a little bit there, instead of like making a whole video for something that's not that important. Those are probably the main uses.
And as of right now, like you're posting roughly every 3 to 5 days ish.
It's probably been something like that, at least once a week. This time of year, I've learned over time, I don't want to do anything. Like
chill.
When the sun goes down at 5 o'clock, I don't know, like for some reason I just like lose the ability to think about the future, to plan whatever. and I used to like really fight it, and it would just mess with me because you know, I would be struggling so much to like find motivation to make videos.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my god, I must like hate Pokemon Go now. Like maybe I'm gonna quit the game and I need to go do something else because clearly I don't care about this anymore. And then by like March,
next morning,
I'm back at it. Like, okay, this is exactly what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And I finally realized it's just like the time of year.
Yeah, it's kind of like a season. Of it all.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe once or twice a week now, but like during the summer it was sometimes 5 times a week.
Oh wow! So yeah, it kind of just depends. But it seems like you keep a nice little regiment.
Mm-hmm.
And do you record like have a big record day where you just get it all out and then edit, or?
I've tried, but I've found that it's pretty difficult for me to like do multiple videos in a day. The most I've definitely done 2 in a day. Trying to get 3 done is a lot. Yeah, it's tough for me. So yeah, I'll usually like one a day max.
Yeah.
Usually, sometimes 2. Like when I was like really good about it over the summer, I had a trip that I was going on with friends. So I did record videos ahead of time and like schedule them so that I could spend more time, you know, just like being present on the trip. And that was nice, and I'll probably do that again during the summer, but like not now.
Not now. This is a chiller time.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out. I know it's past 5. Let's talk about a couple highlights. You know, a couple highlights in your career with YouTube. Like what is or a couple like touching stories, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you've had a good share of those as well.
Yeah. Man, I've definitely like cried a couple times, like meeting fans, you know.
Wow.
Because it's like a super heavy thing when someone opens up about something, like when someone tells you that they didn't kill themselves because of your videos, like that's it's tough to talk about right now. Like, it's just like, you know, every once in a while you get really, really like heavy, impactful stories like that it just makes me feel like I'm like what I'm doing has value, you know? Beyond just like the entertainment or the education or whatever. Like that's like, those things really stick out in my mind. It's like, okay, I did something that's like really important, you know. It feels really important. So yeah, there's been a couple times where like people have opened up about stuff like that feels huge. But you know, beyond that, there's like a ton of stuff that I've just like really enjoyed doing. Like just being able to travel is a constant highlight. Being able to work for myself, you know, like I don't think I'm built to like work for someone else. Like I don't take orders well. You know, I don't
just be up and do your own thing.
I don't know. It's hard for me to like get myself motivated to do someone else's work. Like if I'm working for someone else's company, that's their dream, you know. I get it, like it's your thing, but like I'm definitely the type of person who needs to be doing my own thing. So that's a huge highlight. Good trips, you know, going to all these places. Like I could pick a place and go there. Like it's so sick.
And the next day
like I just pick a place and decide, and like I can do that.
That's
awesome. So you know, I just try to like always remind myself how amazing that is. For sure.
Do you how else do you document like these moments? Like I mean, obviously you have the cameras and stuff like that to document and photos, but is there anything else that you use to document, like stories or people or like moments, things of that nature, or you kind of just take it in?
Yeah, not really. I mean, making the videos is really the main thing.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at multitasking.
Yeah.
Like if I'm out filming a video, I'll forget to take photos. Like,
Yeah.
I'm literally like have my phone in my hand
Yeah.
the entire day playing Pokemon Go. But because I have the camera and I'm filming, I just never open the camera on my phone to like snap a quick photo.
Yeah.
Unless I'm out in like nature, because then there's a lot of downtime, you know, when I don't have service.
Yeah.
I can't play Pokemon Go. I'll remember to take pictures out there. But yeah, it's really just the videos, which have served as a really nice archive, you know? The one thing that I miss about doing like daily vlog style content is that I don't have like the memories, you know? Like whenever I need to go back and pull footage from an old video, like I have a stack of hard drives like this with everything that I've ever shot for the channel.
That's
And
so crazy.
I'll go back because I need a clip from like 2018 or whatever.
Yeah.
And as I'm scrolling through, like trying to find what video I was in, I'll end up watching like 3 entire videos of like a trip to Taiwan or something.
Yeah.
And just like, it's just really cool to like have that,
Yeah.
you know?
No, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, for me, it's like, like I've always been into like photography, film, and all that stuff. And like, I love storytelling.
Yeah.
I think that's, and being able to do that in video, like where you can capture like reactions, you can capture like a breathtaking view, which I would love to talk to you about that, like after this. It's cool to kind of go back and see that, you know, in real time, and like the initial reaction of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But where, like in the last year, right? Because you've been to like 6 different countries, right? Describe a breathtaking view.
A breathtaking view.
Where you're just like, shit, this is, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so I went to Albania for a music festival with a couple of friends and my girlfriend. And it's like on the coast of Albania, you know, the Mediterranean. You just lost the GoPro.
okay. That's good. Peace out, GoPro.
And, you know, the festival, like, they kind of like take over this town on the coast.
Yeah.
And all the stages are at outside at a hotel or like on the beach. But there's one where you have to take a boat to like this cove, and it's like a canyon that you can walk down, but it's like a super steep. You walk down a mountain basically to get there on foot. So you take a boat, and on the way back, we're like coming around the coast. The sun is setting. It's golden hour, and we come around like this corner basically, and the whole coastline just opens up. Golden mountains, right on the ocean, super clear water, and I was just like on the boat like, this might be the most beautiful place I've ever been. This is amazing. That was so good, dude. Albania is like super slept on.
Yo, Albania, gotta go.
Yeah.
That's epic. So, what was the festival?
Anjuna Deep Explorations.
Anjuna Deep
Explorations.
What kind of music was that?
It's like house, deep house.
Okay.
Kind of more, you know, melodic stuff. The label's called Anjuna Deep.
Anjuna Deep.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
I feel we covered a lot, dude. So thank you so much. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
That was pretty thorough, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to, get it all out.
Yeah.
What's something that you would impart? Like, what's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice? Man. I don't know. I think I'm sure I've like received this advice. I don't know who. Probably a lot of people. Definitely my mom. It's just like, be nice to people. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
But I think, it makes everyone's life easier. It makes the world better. Just be nice to people. Be open-minded.
Yeah.
Be understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so simple, but it's definitely something to practice like every day.
Yeah.
And what's one thing? What's your biggest lesson that you've learned in this this whole time?
Wow. The biggest lesson? I don't know, man. I feel like the thing that kind of like shapes my entire worldview more than anything else is this idea that like no one knows what they're doing. You know, everyone's just making it up as they go. Yeah. And you know, for so much of my life, you like look at people and you're like, that guy knows what he's doing, man. I wish I could be like that guy because he knows what he's doing. And then like the more you like go through life, it's like
he was just winging it this whole time.
no one knows what's going on. So like just try to do things that you enjoy. You know, I know that like obviously not everyone's in a position to just like have that freedom all the time, but personally I find a lot of comfort in knowing that like maybe none of this really means anything, you know? Yeah. Like it used to scare me a lot. I'd be like, nothing matters, so like why am I doing anything? But I've kind of like gotten to a point where I'm like, yeah, maybe nothing matters, so like I'm just gonna like do things that I enjoy and like try to be a good person, and that's probably enough. Like the harder I think about like life, the worse it gets for me. So I kind of just try to like
keep it simple.
Just be chill.
Yes. I love it. It's so simple and yet profound, right? And sometimes like I love that. It's like, you know, sometimes you see people like, damn, I really love what they're doing, but at the same time, like, oh, you don't really know what they're doing. Even for myself, I'm like, dude, I got this shit, and then half the time, like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't even know. But I feel like the more that you do the things that light you up, you know, and like ignite you, and like you do that, and you share that with people, like that energy, that's the magic right there.
For sure.
And you know, you do it for a long enough time.
For sure.
And that kind of just starts to compound over time. Yeah,
man. So. I think that's definitely like a huge component in all of this. It's just like the authenticity, you know? Yeah. Like, I know I really enjoy watching someone do something when I can tell that they're really about it. Yeah. You know, and that comes through, and I think that's inspiring for a lot of people. So like, whatever you do, as long as you like enjoy it, you know, if you're really doing stuff that you enjoy, that on its own can inspire people. Yeah,
because they can feel it. Yeah. And then, you know, there's this quote, it's like, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive. Because what the world needs is more people that are alive. Right. You know? Yeah. Cool, dude. Well, thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Trainer Tips everywhere. Not everywhere, not TikTok. Trainer Tips on YouTube is the main thing. That's where I do all the fun stuff.
Nice. And what are you, I know you're in like, not necessarily a down season, but like, what's one thing that you're looking forward to in the future?
Got a big event coming up actually in Vegas this weekend. Nice. Going to Vegas, Hoenn tour for Pokémon Go. I'm playing a DJ set.
What?
Yeah. It was like a thing I started doing on Twitch during like lockdown when everything was closed.
You just got into DJ.
Yeah, because I couldn't go to shows. Yeah. You know? So I was like, I'll just do it. I've kind of like dabbled since college. Yeah. You know, I'd play like parties at the house in college. But yeah, I started doing it on Twitch, and I did one in Seattle last summer when they had a big event there. Doing one in Vegas. It's cool. It's just like a
nice little hobby that you do for fun.
Yeah, it's like a thing that brought a lot of people together. During lockdown, you know, people would be in the Twitch streams like because we can't go out and party. Yeah. So like being able to do that first in Seattle, now in Vegas, like having all those people kind of come together in real life is pretty dope.
That's so crazy, dude. Because now you can combine the music and then they're, oh shit, I know you. Trainer Tips. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you at the next episode. Peace.